Hi everybody, Paul Gallagher. What I want to look at today with this video is barrel distortion, which is different from just having a wonky horizon, which I think we're all guilty of from time to time. This picture shows it quite clearly. And what it is basically, it's like a curvature of the upper part on the horizon line of the upper part of the image. And the reason why this arises is generally from using wide angle lenses, I'd say 24mm upwards, but not just cheap wide angle lenses. The lens I used for this was a Nikon 2470, which isn't a cheap lens, but it's still given me quite profound barrel distortion. And the way to correct this, there's a number of different ways to correct this, but I want to show you what it looks like if you do it in Adobe Camera Raw, which we've got here, and the same controls are in Lightroom. But I'm also going to show you the better way, I feel, of doing it in Photoshop. So if we're in Adobe Camera Raw here, and we can see the barrel distortion there. It dips down on this side, rises to the center, and begins to dip down again on this side. Now, if we go into lens corrections here, we can see straight away we have a distortion control slider here. Now, what we'd like to ascertain really is how much it's distorted by, so we need a grid to go over the top of it, which it has. We come down to here, we can click on Show Grid, and the grid appears over the image. And we can see quite clearly now that the end, if we magnify that there, the gap between the horizon and the white line there is far narrower than it is over here. We can see it getting wider, and it narrows down as it comes to this side. So that's showing quite graphically our barrel distortion. So what we'll do with this is, with this distortion slider, we'll slide it to the right slowly, and we can see that we're starting to even things out. And that's more or less done it. It's pretty straight. It looks pretty good. It's pretty straight. And if we go along here with our magnifier now, we can see it's pretty straight all the way along. So it's got rid of the distortion. What I will do though is remove this grid down here, and then we'll take a look at what it's left behind. And if we can see on the edge of the image here, there's a grey hatching. Also at the top of the image here, there's a grey hatching. Down the left hand side, it's there, and down across the base of the image, it's there. Which means that what we will have to do is crop all four edges of the image, which is not something I'm keen on doing. It's okay with this image, but there's a lot of images whereby if you've got quite a tight composition, that would cause us some problems. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's return that back to 0, and let's have a look how we would do this in Photoshop. Okay, so we're in Photoshop, and the image, the barrel distortion, has been left as it is. Okay, now what I want to do is begin by getting a grid here, so we can once again ascertain the degree of barrel distortion. And I want to do that by using rulers. You can see them on the edge of my frame here, the screen. They're on the horizon there, and they're on the vertical. So there's one at the top and one on the left hand side. If you're not seeing rulers, all you need to do is go View, Rulers. Okay, View and Rulers. I'll knock them off now. Okay, they're gone. Your screen might look like this if you just go to View and then go back to Rulers there, and they'll appear at the top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our cursor. We've currently got the Move tool cursor. It can be any cursor. And we're going to slide it upwards, and just as it crosses the edge of the ruler, it turns into an arrow. We can see it changing into an arrow there. I'll just do that. Change into an arrow. Yeah. Okay. Now I want you to left click and hold that left click down and slide your cursor downwards. And what happens is the black line appears. And this is going to tell us what's straight and what's not. And we can see as we get closer to the horizon, it's certainly not straight. Don't put your line on the very top of the horizon. It's quite difficult to ascertain the gap that we're going to be working with by putting it on the horizon line there. I would pop it just above. And when you let go, the line goes green. Okay, that's our mark, that's our guideline in place now. And when we go Command plus to zoom in and have a little look, we can see that the gap gets greater on this side, goes narrower there, and starts opening out again here. Although that's land, it's still barrel distortion. I'm going to go Command minus to zoom out a little bit. Next part of the process, I'm going to go Select All. Okay, now we're going to put marching ants right the way around the entire image. Okay. I'm going to push down my space bar and drag the image down. So our working area is here. Now, what I want to do now is I'm going to go to Edit, Transform and Warp. Okay, Edit, Transform and Warp. Left click on Warp. Now what you'll see now is the marching answer there, but also what has appeared is a blue line with little anchor dots on it here and here and here. They go round the image. What I'm intending to do is try to just pull the anchor points and pull them outwards to even the gap between the horizon line and our blue guideline. So for example, I'm going to come here, left click and drag on that, drag it upwards and outwards, and as I do so you'll notice the horizon line, the curvature is going out the horizon line, it's starting to straighten up. Okay, never drag inwards like this because you'll end up with that effect. Always drag outwards. Okay, keep outside the image. Right, that's that side done. That's pretty straight all the way across. We've still got the same barrel distortion running over this side of the photograph. So we're going to left click on there and once again drag this up, and we can see now it's slowly but surely lifting the horizon line straight. Now if we look along here, now we can see our horizon line is completely straight, which is perfect. Now what we've lost is a tiny little bit off the side of the image there, but really what we've lost is the equivalent of the curvature from the sky. There's a wedge of it there and there's a wedge of it there, and we've just dragged it off. Now we're going to hit return, commit to it. Okay, now the guidelines around the outside will go. You will still Command 0, we'll still have some marching ants at the bottom there. Go Command D to get rid of them, and to get rid of the blue line just hit Command colon, and now we can see that our curved horizon has gone. If we go back up to here, we can see where we began, and we can go to there to see where we finished off. Simple control, but we're not cutting off 4 edges of our image, but that's particularly important so we got quite a tight framing, or it's quite a tight composition. So next time you get barrel distortion, which I'm sure you will at some stage, now you know how to apply without cropping 4 edges off your image. Thanks for listening.